Hey guys, Garage 79R. I want to do a quick little overview video about the last month. Just been busy. You know how it is. Floyd's been awesome. Love Floyd. Floyd's been getting 42, 43 miles a gallon, at least before it's gotten really cold out. I haven't really driven it in the last week. Four doors running. I had a blown fuse for the fuel pump circuit because the wiring on the fuel pump's kind of janky, so I kind of patched that up. I plan on changing a lot of stuff once I finally get into this project. And I washed it, so it's like kind of shiny. So it looks kind of decent. So I don't know. This is still just kind of sitting, waiting for me to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So anyway, real quick, blew up Earl. Yaris had to clock in and finish the year. On top of that, did a bonus event. My buddy Danny Cal, or Cal, I always butcher his last name. He invited me out to the Porsche Club event at Pocono Raceway. They race on the infield. And so I took the Yaris. That was the first time out on the new suspension. Car did really good. Funny story, when I was racing, Danny was working in a timing trailer. And by the time I made my second round, the other guy in the trailer, kind of like running the event, stopped the event. And he thought something was wrong with the timers. And Danny's like, hey, why we stop? What's up? He's like, there's no way he's that fast in that little car. And Danny's like, you mean Greg in the Yaris? Like, yeah, no, he's like one of our guys. Like, he's quick. And so that's kind of like a nice little compliment to get. And I ended up doing overall 17th out of like 75 cars, and the vast majority of them are Porsches. But a lot of the guys don't have a whole lot of experience, which leads me to my second story. Guys I was working with on my work assignment at the end of the day were grabbing cones, packing up, walking in there, talking about like how much they had fun, how their day went. I think they were buddies or brothers or something. I don't know. They're from, I think, Jersey. They had that New York Jersey sound. And I'm just listening. I'm trying to like interject or anything because I don't want to talk about myself. And they like turn to me like, "Hey, what are you driving?" And I was like, damn it. I was like, yeah, I got the little white Yaris sedan. And he's like, how are you like 10 seconds faster than my 911? And I was just like, actually, I think I looked it up. Actually it was like 12 seconds faster. But I was like, well, first of all, let me ask you this. How many events have you done? I think he said this was his third event. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't compare yourself to me. I was like, I've been doing this more or less for 15 years with the same cars. I know how to go quick in them pretty much wherever I go. It's like you can't compare. You could be in a McLaren, and if it's your, if third time out, you're still not going to be fast. Like you might go zinging down the straightaway, but you're not going to be fast through the corners. So I was trying to be like humbling about it. I was like, I just been doing this a long time. I have a lot of experience. Blah blah blah. I was like, if you stick with it and run, do a lot of events, you never know. In about 10 years, you might be the guy that's 10 seconds faster than everybody else. So, I don't do well with like, I guess it's a compliment, but I struggle with it. So anyway, but it was cool. Like, and he actually ended up taking like a selfie with me and whatnot. So I guess that kind of made his day and kind of opened his eyes that, it's not always about the car. So, but it was a great event. I'll definitely run with those guys again. Because it was a smaller event and it just was relaxed. It didn't feel rushed. It was a little bit more expensive, but look where we're at. We're at Pocono. Like, hell yeah. Like, it was cool. I'm not an NASCAR guy, but I still respect it. And it felt special being there. So that was good. Yaris did well. I did like, I spun out on one of the laps. And then on another lap in the same spot, the car was trying to spin out again. So I bailed it, but ended up hitting the cone and busting the bumper. And I kept the cone. Sorry, PCA, but it was trashed, and I brought it in with me apparently. So I kept it. If I need to, I'll buy you a cone. Then Danny treated us. It was me, or I should. It was Danny, Ada, Pat, and me, and we ended up getting Chinese in Philadelphia on the way home, and it was just a great time. It was a long day, but it was a great time, and I'll do it again in a heartbeat. But maybe I might find a place to stay next time if I can afford it, because that was a lot of driving to do in one day. Um, so then that left two WDCR SCCA solo events left in the season. The first of the last events was at Summit Point at the Washington Circuit, which is the old go-kart track. Took the Yaris up. Now I'm running the Yaris on the little 205s because the 225s will stick out and hit. And the car did well. I think I did like third. I was first. And then some guy in a random Miata that nobody's seen before. I don't know what was done. I think it might have been a turbo. It had huge tires, big flares sticking out, excessive tires. He finally figured out what he was doing or whatever, and he went quicker. And then Mike Brown, I think him and Mike Brown were, I think, a tenth off. I can't remember. Don't hold me to it, but they were really tight. And then I think I was a second behind them, which is about to be expected with the Yaris. So that was kind of cool because for a while there, I was like, "There's no way, like, I should not be winning in the Yaris." And like, and then finally, basically Mike figured it out, and the other guy figured it out, and found some speed and time. But the problem is the Yaris was still very tail happy. You end up having the rear tires way down to try to control it. And I even had the rear dampers down. And so I remembered that. And then so for this last weekend's event, I almost said yesterday, but today's Thursday. I turned down the rear bar, and that made all the difference. So we ran at Ripken for the last event, and the car was so much more neutral. My tire pressures were almost exactly the same. I had the fronts around 29.5 and the rears at 29. So that really shows how much more balanced the car was because I didn't have to compensate with tire pressure. It was really good. It's still, if you entered the corner wrong, it would push. Or if you enter in a little hot, it would, want to step out. So it was right where you would want it. I still drove very conservatively. And I mean, there's some parts I was tighter than others, but I'm just so programmed for the car to kick out. So I kind of still underdrove the car. And I can't remember where I placed because we had Ada was having a special race event called Race Wars, and so all of them decided to run in XB just to make it easy, even though some of the cars weren't legal for XB, but it was just easier to keep them all together that way. So I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't know, like fifth overall out of like 20 cars in the group or something like that. I forget. Don't hold me to it. But I was really happy with how the Yaris ran, and I found some speed there as I started to get a little bit more confident with the car. And the Yaris just really does well, especially on those standard racing coilovers. I had them at 22 in the front, 20 in the rear. I can still go. I think they go up to 32. So I never felt like it had too little damper or too much damper. That felt pretty good, at least for Ripken's lot, which is a little dusty, but generally has decent grip. So I'm happy with my performance, and because of that, overall in the points, I won XB again. So that's pretty cool, and so that's makes me a two-time champion in XB, which in the first 2 years of it running in our area. So I guess I got a target on my back now. So I really need to step it up next year. So we'll see what happens. A lot of things going on, and not a lot of money or time. So I'm going to try and make something happen and try to step the car up a little bit next year. Speaking of the car, Earl. November issue of Grassroots Motorsports. Earl is in it. Now I got to find a page. Meet Earl the Tercel. They didn't use gray Tercel, but that's fine. I'm not complaining at all. And that's an older picture, and that's in here in my garage. Like, can you tell? Yeah. See? Yeah. Oh, as I knock stuff over. So that's really cool. It's just a little blurb, and it's linking to my build thread on Grassroots Motorsports, and so that was really cool. That's the third time I've been in Grassroots Motorsports. The first time was when I did my first track event at Summit Point on the main circuit, and I ran my Scion XB, and because I had my white Tercel at the time, but I just at that point I had blown the C150 transmission, stock power, and I didn't have it all together in time, so I took the wide tires on the Tercel, put them on the Scion, and raced the Scion. The Scion did well. It drove really nice. And because it's a Scion XB on a road course, it stuck out, and they put my picture on. I don't even know if they still do this. It's like they used to call it "Stuck on You," and they'll just feature a car that has a Grassroots Motorsports sticker, or not, feature, but a little corner with the car. I'm not going to go through it right now, but I think they still do it. Like "Stuck on You," and because you have a Grassroots Motorsports sticker on the car, you have a chance of being in the magazine. So that's neat, and that's why I also have Grassroots Motorsports stickers on pretty much everything that runs. So, so that was my first time to Scion, and then second time was actually the Malibu. I don't remember what issue. It was about 2 years ago, I think. Same kind of thing where it kind of features my build thread on grassrootsmotorsports.com on their forums. They just kind of, I think they had 2 pictures of the Malibu, and if you clicked on because they post the same stuff as like a digital magazine. So if you went on their website and saw that little blurb, they have the link to take you to my build thread. So it was really neat. So 3 times in the magazine. Who knows? Maybe the next time will be an actual feature. JG, I'm open for an interview. If you're willing to interview me, or David Wylans, or all the other guys there. But anyway, I'm being a smart ass. But yeah, if you want to interview me, I'll try to keep it PG as much as possible. So that's what's going on. Nothing new to report on Malibu other than I got that other motor pretty much ready for it. I switched the old pans, and so the only thing really left is to get into the wiring. So it's kind of ready-ish. I got to do a few things, but it's going in the right direction. I have a motor and trans that's definitely going to be ran in the car, and with a much better harness and a much better ECU. So hopefully I can put some progress into that build this winter next year. But first comes Earl. I got to work on Dustin's Paseo, get that ready. And if you're unfamiliar with that, we started off with a Paseo convertible that sat in a field, and I kind of started off like mechanically restoring it and just getting it running and driving. Then we ended up boosting it, and then it got hit. So then we got another chassis, which was ultimately the best thing. This chassis came from like North Carolina. It has like 0 rust, but it has some other issues. So I already fully stripped out the field car, and I got to convert this other chassis because this one's an automatic. I got converted to manual, do all the stuff. So I got to get on that relatively soon because we have some plans in March that requires that car running. So I need to get on the ball for that. And yeah, that's what's going on. See you guys on the next one.